what does it actually look like in your home? Okay, so what is going to happen to our young people, to us in our home every single day? What are we going to see? So what poor sleep absolutely does can hugely affect concentration, massively affects concentration, and that is going to have an impact on our home environment. That's also going to have an impact on the school environment too, and that is a physiological side effect of sleep deprivation. So this is like no one's fault, like because a child isn't getting enough sleep, their concentration is going to be affected 100%. And I would say for every young person I've ever worked with, this has absolutely been apparent for them. The other thing that we'll see is hyperactivity. So often as adults, when we're sleep deprived, we feel tired. We don't see that in children. What we see in children is hyperactivity. So children that are running around and literally cannot calm themselves down. This is what we see in children with poor sleep. Now, the other thing that we can see is increased aggression. Okay, so actually, sleep affects the way that we cope with stress. And we know that children with SEN are probably suffering with more stress than a neurotypically developing child, okay? And the way that we cope with stress becomes much more difficult when we haven't had enough sleep. And that goes for parents too. So, the way that we cope as parents with our children if we haven't had enough sleep is going to be very different if we're coming from a place of being well rested. So that is the kinds of things that we see in the home environment. Now, other things that we can see is increased illnesses, more frequent illnesses, and not being able to get over the illnesses as quickly. So illnesses that will linger for a long time and frequent kind of bouts of illness. Really, really common because our immune systems are being repaired. And I'll talk about that a little bit more when I get into kind of the science of sleep. Now, growth can be massively affected, and I always go back to one of my cases that I had quite a while, some years ago now, of a little girl who had been having between 4 and 5 hours sleep for about 3 years, and she had not grown. So she was under a paediatrician, she hadn't grown. Now we resolved the sleep issues, and within 2 months she grew 3 inches. Like, it is incredible because growth hormones and stuff are being released when we sleep. So incredible, and when I did my training, I think even at that point I thought, oh, this is good, but I wonder if it actually works. And then when you're actually out there, supporting and helping families and seeing these kinds of things, to me, this is what drives me. This is the reason that I do what I do, because I see even the physical effects, that sleep can have on children particularly. So yeah, it basically affects every area of your life. And there is also a clinical link between sleep and depression. So if you're sleep deprived, you're more likely to have depression. Anxiety and sleep are still they're still on the fence about whether, which feeds into which, but depression absolutely can be caused by lack of sleep. So it's really, really important. This is a really important topic.